I'm Bridget Duggan.
I'm Casey.
And we are here with
Stephanie Dino Orvis from Cooper Legal Firm.
So our first question is, Cooper Legal Firm is set up as a PC, which is a professional corporation. Could you explain what that means?
In the state of North Carolina, you can obviously do things as a corporation or an LLC or a sole proprietorship. Certain corporations or LLCs can have a designation as a professional corporation if you have a certain license that you can tie to it. That just basically allows you to only have members that have that specific professional license in it.
Perfect. How does your firm use contracts in daily operations?
We review contracts, we write contracts, we represent business owners, and everything we do is contracts here. So all the time, every day.
What steps do you take to protect client confidentiality and sensitive information, especially in real estate or litigation cases?
We have a lot of computer software that has a lot of conflict checks. So anybody that calls in or comes in for appointments and that kind of stuff, we automatically plug into the database to make sure we don't have any conflicts with anybody else. This is especially important because we do a lot of closings for real estate, and then we also have a lot of civil litigation and that kind of thing. And so we're constantly checking to make sure that we don't run across the same people on different files. So mostly just the computer software is what we're calling for that.
What types of business or professional licenses does your firm need to operate legally?
Well, everybody here has passed the bar exam, or at least they've told me they have. The paralegals all have certified paralegals. In the state of North Carolina, you can actually get a certification to become a paralegal. We have only certified paralegals here. So anybody can become a paralegal by just training and working in the environment. But becoming a certified paralegal requires certain training, certain number of hours and testing. So there's those kind of licensing here. We also have notary publics, which requires a course to be taken. It's a one-day course, but also requires that you be certified. And then there are people here who have I have, for instance, a title insurance license in the state of North Carolina, as well as a title insurance agent. And I have a title insurance license in Georgia so that I can issue and write title insurance. So some different certifications.
What would you give to students who are interested in pursuing law, especially in real estate or litigation?
I think law is a fascinating career, and I love being a lawyer. I'm one of the few. I'll be honest about that. But I'll tell you why. It's because I like learning new things. And every day as a lawyer, I learn something new. And it's because of the fact that I get to do a lot of different stuff.
Right.
For instance, right now I have a franchise case that deals with a daycare facility. Well, I don't know anything about daycare facilities. Never thought I would really want to know anything about daycare facilities. But I have learned like the most interesting things about daycare facilities, like that I never would have otherwise known. And I don't know why that fascinates me, but for some reason it's almost like you get to go in the kitchen of your favorite restaurant sometimes around.
Yeah.
Like in law. So it like gives you the inside of a lot of different things that you would never get to experience being a lawyer. And you get to ask questions of people, and they give you answers about things that you just otherwise would not know anything about. So it's really an intriguing, especially doing litigation. I have a boutique hotel that I represent right now that has 18 rooms. They're all really neat rooms, like it's an Airbnb kind of hotel boutique. I'm like, tell me more, tell me about this hotel. So I'm like, how did you think this up? I want to know, right? I want answers, so I get to meet like all these really fascinating people, and I get all this fascinating information. I'm like, what a cool job. So sometimes I get like really interesting things that I get to learn, and I get really interesting people I get to learn from. So I like that part of the law, and I kind of like wearing my teeth and fighting against them.
This is the last question. I wanted to go back to how you were mentioning ethics is important in like going to law school and all that. So what other skills do you think are most important for success in the legal field today?
Flexibility and the ability to grow with the practice of law, because I think even when I started, I'm old. When I started in 96, you guys were not even around. But it was literally, I went to the federal court the first time, and there were 2 judges at the federal court. I was in Nevada, and there was a jar of marbles, there were white and black marbles in the jar. They decided which judge you got by which marble they pulled out, and that was how your judge was assigned. So it would be like, okay, I'm following this case. They'd be like, okay, you got Judge Regal. And I would be like, okay. And they would write it on your thing, and that's how you filed your paper. And I went from that in 1996, now everything being electronically filed and having a, and I look at that sometimes. I'm so glad that I'm sort of an early adopter of technology, and that I've been okay with floating through that whole thing, because it's came a long way.
It's a big adjustment.
And like, so I think in the legal field now, plus the pandemic, I mean, a lot of the young lawyers that have come out in the last 4 years went to law school in their back bedroom. So they did not have the same experience. You guys did not have the same experience going through high school and college that everybody else had my generation had going through high school and college. So the lawyers coming out now didn't have the same experience going into even a mock trial, going into a mock courtroom, learning how to go into a trial or a courtroom. And so now the training to become a lawyer is very different than what it used to be. So I think somebody going into the legal field now has to be flexible, has to be able to kind of go, okay, I've got to be like ready to learn some things that might be a little different as things scoot on. Still understand there's a generation back here at the black and white marbles still think that way, not be totally turned off by that, because it's so easy for the generations to kind of go, no, right? No.
Right.
You kind of have to go, okay, you exist. We have to kind of, all of us, because we all still do the same things. So the next generation just has to be flexible enough to kind of work with everybody else. Because most of the attorneys that pop out now want to do mostly transactional work because they don't want to go in the courtroom. I think that comes from the pandemic. Nobody wants to go in there and actually have confrontation.
Right, because it's easier just to ignore your problems.
Well, everybody texts.
Stuff like that.
Everybody's so used to not even picking up the phone because, of course, I do it too. I do. I don't call people. Why would you do that? Like, why'd you call me? So, but nobody wants to go in a courtroom. You have to drive somewhere and get dressed up and go in.
Right.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to ask?
That was all for me.